Hey everyone, welcome to the Players Point Sony recap of the E3 press conference that just finished up right now. I've got Chris Butts, Atozy, FPS Diesel, Cody Girdwood, Kronos Trinity, and Chris Berg here. So we got a full cast of people to talk about what we just saw. 2 hours of Sony goodness, or maybe something else. Depends on what you guys think. But let's just kind of go around quickly and get some thoughts about what we thought about the conference. I'll start off with myself and say that I had a thoroughly enjoyable experience, I'd say, but at the same time, too, there were some points that really kind of dragged on for me. They were doing really good up until they finished up the letters, and then after the letters, I kind of was like, and then I knew at that point, too, that I wasn't going to get everything I wanted. I was like, they're going to do Uncharted 4 at the end. There's no way I'm going to see The Last Guardian, and I was hoping for, you know, maybe one more exclusive from Sony on top of Uncharted 4. That didn't happen. LittleBigPlanet 3 was just something that I was like, I don't want that right now. So I don't know. I feel mixed. BloodBorne looks really sick, and I'm really excited for that. And we got to see some cool looks at some games, so I enjoyed some parts of that. And Uncharted 4 looks very pretty. We'll see how that game actually looks when they start doing gameplay, because it's way in the future. 2015 fall is probably going to be when it comes out. That's my thoughts. I don't know, kind of lukewarm / you know, enjoyed it. Not my favorite conference of the day. What about you, Chris Butts?
I enjoyed a few of the titles that they had. Not everything really intrigued me too much. First off, I want to mention, how dare you? LittleBigPlanet 3 is going to be amazing.
I felt so bad for them. I felt bad because they're just struggling. Like, they were like,
yeah.
You said the conference was 2 hours long. LittleBigPlanet felt like 30 minutes. But yeah, no, in all fairness, I think it's going to be a cool game for sure, but obviously, and the cool part is that game's coming out this fall as well. Another new game that we need, you know. At least for some people, PS4 is kind of lacking in games, so having an actual AAA title like that.
Consoles are lacking games.
Yeah, but I mean, getting that AAA title for the fall is kind of a nice thing to get. What are your thoughts, FPS Diesel, on what you saw from the PS4?
Personally, I wish they gave more time to the indie games, because honestly, the indie games are just going to be where it's at. And I like that they're doing that because it breaks up times that there's no big releases. So, you know, you don't have anything to play. Maybe you play, what's with the one with the bird, Entwined?
Yeah.
You know, maybe you play that, or play Broforce, or play something else. But then they just spent the whole time talking about stupid things like streaming, and, you know, those are cool and all. I won't use them, but I wish they had spent more time. I wish they had spent more time on the things that needed to have more time spent on, than the things that people will use or will not use either way.
Yeah, that's fair. What about you, Cody? Yeah, no. What do you think of the conference though? What do you think of Sony's conference?
I reckon it started pretty well. Like, there's a lot of games, like I said, and then the middle bit I was sort of a bit over it halfway through, and then I think it would have been better if they just showed all the games at the start and then, you know, said you can leave now.
Yeah, you can leave. You're done. It's okay.
Yeah.
You can go now. They try and obviously split up as much as they can, but it was kind of, it got a bit rough at points. What about you, Kronos?
I'm really sad. Like, I'm gonna cut myself. It's that bad. They showed a lot of good things. LittleBigPlanet, that was great. I mean, it looked nice. They showed BloodBorne, right?
Yes.
That looked pretty good. I didn't give a shit about any of the streaming stuff. It was just awful. Ratchet and Clank movie looked good, but aside from that, I think this is, I don't know. I don't even have words.
Okay, well, what about you, Chris?
Illuminati.
I kind of have to agree with Kronos on this one. I wish I would have had like a bottle of aspirin or something next to me to kind of. It wasn't too. I don't know. It was just like they had some good filler games, and they did have Mortal Kombat X, which is like my favorite thing ever.
Oh, dude.
And they had some like. I don't know, they had that, they had the remastered Last of Us, which actually makes me want to get a PlayStation 4 just to play that game, just because I played it before, loved it, want to play it again. But other than that, it was really long. I felt like they stretched it out a lot of things to talk about when they shouldn't have. They should have just gotten through all the good stuff, and I don't know, so...
A lot of padding in there.
Wait, Bird just gave me a really good fucking analogy. It was like Bleach or Naruto filler. You didn't hate it, but it's not what you wanted to see.
So let's start off with the Destiny trailer to open it up. They talked about alpha and beta access, at least initially, for the PS4, and there's going to be a white PS4 coming out September 9th, so that's a thing that'll be bundled with the game, and I'm assuming it'll be cheaper as well, so you'll get the game and, you know, it'll be bundled in, which is kind of a good thing for people looking to get into a PS4 for the fall. But,
White
you know,
PS4 looks snazzy.
yeah,
It
it's
looks nice.
Glacier, as they were calling it. Then they followed that up with some Order 1886 gameplay, and I want to get your thoughts on this one, guys, because
That's about the best.
big game that's going to be coming out, obviously, and this is from Ready at Dawn, the guys that have worked on God of War games for the PSP and the PS Vita in the past, and they've done a lot of cool stuff. This is kind of like their actual, real, first entry into a AAA title, and I'm really excited for this game. I love the idea of what this game's all about, and they have some interesting things going on. Like, as you probably saw in the trailer, they have the cinematic view, so it's actually the whole game is going to be played in cinematic instead of it actually being, like full screen. And they're going for a very movie-esque approach with the game, and it'll be interesting to see. Like, this game could be either a hit or miss completely, but I don't know. The gameplay didn't really make me super excited, but I'm excited for the game. I want to get your thoughts though on what you thought of the trailer. What about
Story
you,
was good. Story was good, but I don't know if the gameplay is going to be enough to satisfy me. I mean, it's an interesting concept, but that's about it.
That's fair enough.
Wasn't what I expected. Like when that guy turned into the big,
Yeah.
whatever it was. I was like, whoa.
I was watching with
Wait
my
a minute.
friends, and they're like,
Whoa.
"Oh, another zombie game," and then I'm like, "That's not a zombie," and they're like, "But it's a zombie." I'm like, "Just watch. It's gonna not be a zombie," and then it turned out to be something close to I don't know what it was.
Werewolf?
Werewolf.
It was like the
yeah,
werewolf.
Oh!
It did
Potter.
speak, so
Yeah,
I
it's pretty
think it
cool.
was a
Like it's
werewolf.
got
That-
intelligence, whatever.
That
I was
actually looks
waiting
really
if it-
interesting.
I was waiting for it to start like dancing in Thriller, just do that. Cool.
I was actually kind of excited at first because I
Just
thought it was
in time.
another. The screen that they started it off on looked like another Left 4 Dead. I mean, Last of Us or Dead Space game.
Okay.
That's what it looked like, and I was like, oh man.
good though.
It'll be very thrillery in regards to the style of the game. It's going to be obviously, no real light because it's going to be before electricity, and at the same time too, it's going to be dealing with the supernatural. So it'll be interesting in that regard. This game not coming out this year anymore, but I'm excited for that one. They move on to Entwine, which they kind of showed off quickly and said the game's out today if you want to play it. I don't know if I'll pick that up myself, but it's kind of interesting to see that they gave that a spotlight at least. Also Infamous First Light DLC, so it's a standalone DLC for Infamous.
I'll look on
But
Twitter and see.
from that, we got LittleBigPlanet for PS4 coming in November. That gameplay was cute and bubbly. They had the cute bubbly music playing, but those
yeah.
people were just.
Touched
I
the
was-
heart. They
I
were bad at
was-
the game.
I was
They were
struggling
awful.
Yeah.
watching. I was having a tough time.
That's
know.
when I felt like I needed the aspirin.
I thought they were MLG players for a second. I don't know what you guys thought.
MLG Little Big Planet.
I have to say the new characters in that were pretty good though. I think the
Yeah.
birds
They were
fucking
fucking adorable.
Yeah,
I
the
remember
bird was
when
so
I
adorable.
got a PS3 for the first time. It came with Little Big Planet 2. That was the first time I played it, and it was the best thing I've ever played.
Yeah, that was a great highlight from the stream, definitely.
I've had the most fun with that game.
Alright, so we'll move on to the next game that Sony showed off, which is BloodBorne, which is a game coming from Software. It's their new PS4 exclusive coming out in 2015. And, we had some kind of leaked footage of that came out about 30 seconds or so. And people were kind of thinking maybe it was Demon's Souls 2. Comes out as a new series, new IP. It definitely has kind of that tinge, though. This, eerie game that very much has similar kind of tendencies to what we've seen in the past from Software. But it was probably the most exciting thing that I saw at the conference, if not, very close to Uncharted 4, and I'm pretty excited for it. I want to see actual gameplay, though, and understand the game a bit more before I get really hopped on there. But, Chris, you were saying, Chris Butts, you were saying that you were interested in it and you thought it looked pretty cool?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty interesting, and I want to get it.
What about you, Diesel?
I think it looks like Demon Souls or Dark Souls,
Yeah.
and those games are really hard, and I haven't finished any of them. But
It does have that
I'll-
tinge, for sure, so.
if it's like that, I don't know if I'll pick it up because I've had such a problem. I want to like those games, but I don't know what this is gonna be like. So until I see gameplay, I don't know. So
Have you hit
we
up
can
Dark
wait.
Souls 2?
Yes.
What about you, Kronos? So you're a Dark Souls fan. What do you take from this?
Big fan. It looks incredible. I hope it has the same hard tendencies because I've really gotten into that type of game. I've played Dark Souls about 8 times now in Dark Souls 2. I haven't finished, but controller issues. I can't do anything about that.
That's fair enough. So let's move on to Far Cry 4, which got some gameplay, as we obviously saw a little bit of it. It was gameplay, but it was more of a cinematic when we're at the Ubisoft presser. But this was actual full-on gameplay showing off a bit more from Far Cry and kind of taking out a fort. And yeah, this was a little bit more lukewarm for me. I'm excited to play it for sure because I really like Far Cry 3, but I wasn't really getting super excited for it. What did you guys think? Was there any of you guys that really were interested from this gameplay?
The one thing I was questioning myself about Far Cry 4 is why is there like an Asian boy band dude who's the bad guy?
He has that kind of style to him, doesn't he?
So why
Well,
was
he
Antonio
looks like
Banderas the
he-
bad guy in Far Cry 3?
No,
He
but
did
I
not
mean
look
like he looked more serious than this. Yeah.
I don't know, like
know.
I felt like he wasn't as like intimidating, or like when I saw Voss the first time, I was like, shit, this is a good villain. This guy could be a good villain, but I wasn't really like being drawn in the same way that I was when I saw Far Cry 3's initial.
I got the
gameplay.
vibe that this guy was a lot more crazy and out there.
It reminded me of Garaham from Skyward Sword.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Giraham's a great villain.
Oh yeah, I like
So-
him.
I don't think
think
he
you're
looks
I don't
that
know.
great.
I don't know. I really liked Far Cry 3, and I hope with the new villain and whatnot with Far Cry 4, because obviously they're going to have, possibly better gameplay, better graphics. I hope the story can keep up with Far Cry 3.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, that's something that we're gonna have to wait and see, but it could be something that does work. But also, you have to remember that these guys are guys that worked on, I believe, Revelations for Assassin's Creed before doing this. So it's kind of like the studio that a lot of people feel like didn't do a great job on that series. So will they do good with this? Was it like just because we're really feeling fatigued and it was nothing new of Assassin's Creed? Or is Far Cry 4 going to also suffer the same fate based on the fact that maybe these developers are not the best comparatively to some of the other developers at Ubisoft? That's a kind of a wait and see thing that I want to see from it. But I'm excited to play it. I will play Far Cry 4 for sure. Dead Island 2 had a reveal trailer, and probably one of the funny, they did a really good, that was a really good reveal. I enjoyed that quite a bit. That was funny. I loved the whole just like cockiness of the guy and then him slowly dying off, and then then you have Jack Black pulling up in his car and he takes the shoes and it's like, I don't know what this means, but it's cool, I guess, like, sure. And I mean, that's the first thing. The Dead Island, the first game, did the exact same thing. Where you're like, oh, this trailer's awesome. Game had nothing to do with that, but it's a cool
Yeah.
trailer. So we can take it as a cool trailer. And I mean, Dying Light is being made by Techland as well. So if you look at Dying Light as a game and looking how far Techland's actually moved along in regards to making video games, then you can kind of maybe say that this is something that could be really good. Or you could also say, well, this is just going to be like Dead Island, so why would I want... Like, Dead Island Riptide was nothing new, right? So they do
And
have that problem.
Dying
for
Light
sure.
is probably going to be buggy, and Dead Island 2 is going to be buggy. Because
I-
they don't know
it-
how to fix bugs.
Well,
It
who's
took
Jack
me
Black?
3 minutes to fall outside of the Fallout. No, Far Cry 3 map. No, not Far Cry 3. What the hell? Dead Island 1. I don't know why I said... Yeah, anyway, it took me literally 3 minutes. I kicked a shelf, and that shelf just launched me through the roof. So, I mean, I was like... Yeah.
It's happening, yeah. I mean, the one thing I'd say is I've gotten to play Dying Light, and from my experience playing Dying Light, it seemed really awesome. It was probably one of the biggest surprises for me when I got to play it when I was at PAX last year. So I'm excited to actually play that game. Like, I have positive feelings about playing Dying Light, and I think the game will be really cool when it comes out. But obviously, it's from Techland as well, so Techland has that stigma against them, and it's a wait and see. But moving on from that, Battlefield Hardline had a trailer, which is, kind of muted because we've already seen quite a bit of Hardline already today, and Hardline was really well. It was really shown off well at the EA press conference. So this is a little bit more of a tidbit, but still looking good. I'm excited for that still. Then there was kind of just talk about Destiny and talk about Disney Infinity and some exclusive stuff there. Moving on from that, Magicka 2 and any games from that developer are also going to be PlayStation exclusives. Again, another thing. The one that I kind of stood out to me though was the fact that Grim Fandango is going to be made for the PS4 as an exclusive with a Vita, and it's going to be remastered, which is freaking crazy that they
Yeah, I
actually
know.
that they put the money into making that happen, because that's considered one of the greatest games of all time in a lot of people's books. I think that's amazing that they actually put the money out to make that happen, and it's really cool that they're doing that. So that was probably one of the coolest surprises of the press conference for sure. Moving
I
on
feel
from
like
that,
I should
though.
know what that is.
Yeah, so
Grim
do I.
Fandango.
It's
Like, I have
it's
no
one
idea.
of one of the original games from Tim Schafer's studio back in the day when they used to work for Disney, because he used to do adventure games like Monkey Island and stuff like that. And this was Grim Fandango was considered one of the the best from that bunch. And yeah, a lot of people really hold it in high regard. It's a 90s game though, so it's something that goes farther back, like kind of PS1-esque.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it was a PC game though. I mean, like that era of gaming. But yeah, after that, Devolver Digital had kind of a showcase showing off their games. Nothing is going to be exclusive, but Devolver Digital is an amazing studio. I love their stuff. Like the game Not a Hero looks amazing. A lot of people have been saying it's the next Hotline Miami game, and that was one of the most positively, like, that and Evolve were the games that were being talked about most at PAX East. So I'm really excited to see more from that game. And Hotline Miami 2 is a game I'm super excited for because fucking Hotline Miami is an amazing game. So that was really cool to see. And Broforce as well, you know, that's one that looks pretty cool too. And they had a couple other games there as well. I believe they were Titan Solus and Talos as well. Not as interested in those personally, but they look pretty cool too. And then moving from that, there's a new Suda51 game, which again, for specific people, that's like a big fucking deal. Like, holy shit, PS4 exclusive Suda51. But then other people, it's like, what does that mean? Because Suda51 obviously worked on... now it's
Lollipop Chainsaw.
Yeah, just a bunch of games like that where it's kind of like these very
weird
Japanese,
yeah.
But people love them for one reason or another, and I mean they have their merits for being cool, but they're also like can be misogynistic or extremely gory for one reason.
They're super weird.
Yeah,
they're super weird.
They go outside the box of convention, but people have a very big cult following for those games, and that's coming out in 2015. And then the main developer from making the game Journey is working on a new game called Abzu, which is going to be made by now Giant Squid, which
beautiful.
Yeah, like I'm really excited for that one as well. So you look back at this and I'm kind of saying like a showcase of games, they had a lot of really cool small stuff that kind of highlighted, and that was one of the ones where I'm like, any game coming from this studio now I want to play. I don't care if I'm not overly interested by what you showed me immediately. I will play it just because Journey was one of the best games that I played last generation, hands down. So the next thing that they kind of showed off was No Man's Sky, which is probably the top three things that I saw from this conference were No Man's Sky, BloodBorne, and Uncharted 4. And No Man's Sky is a game I am really, really excited for. When they initially announced that game, I had this, like this small studio going like, let's just make generated like content. Let's just create things and have it procedurally generated, have all these worlds you can travel to. You have to collect things, resources and stuff like that, and you can meet people, and you start off on your own planet. You have to essentially make your way off the planet and then go find this whole solar system. It's a huge game that has so much potential. It could also, fall flat on its face, but something that I thought was really cool to see a little bit more from that. And I was like, they're going to fly up from this planet, go into space, and then fly down on another planet. That's what they need to show people, and they fucking did that. So I was really excited to see that they went that level by showing that game. That's going to be coming to PC and PS4, I think. So that'll be really cool to see that one when it finally comes out. Okay. So the next thing that Sony kind of went into is they started going into some service stuff, and probably the biggest thing that they showed off, which is going to be huge for a lot of people, is the fact that you can now stream to YouTube from your PS4 coming this fall, which is a big fact for a lot of people because us, we're people that have these capture devices and stuff like that, but for just the average Joe that wants to actually create content, this is going to be a really new open way for people to actually get their content onto YouTube, which is what a lot of people really want to do. And even if you have it, even if you want to do that yourself, I'm going to be playing around with it myself too, of Share Factory and everything like that. What do you want to say about that, Arling?
YouTube's going to become like a shithole of...
It's true. There's going to be so much more content.
It already is.
Boom!
But yeah, they kind of went into a free-to-play showcase after that, showing off a bunch of games from that, and talked about PlayStation Now Beta going live July 31st for Canada and the US, and then it's coming to Vita, PS3, and also the fact that you can play with your DualShock 3 on a TV and do this, so you won't have to actually have a console to make that happen. And it's going to be the streaming service that they're going to do in the future, so it'll be cool to see how that kind of goes out. I'm excited to play PS3 games that I want to play on my PS4 and just kind of not have to worry about going back, And then they showed off PlayStation TV, which is kind of a mute point for me. I wasn't really overly interested in that, but I know there are people that were excited to see that that's actually a thing coming to North America now. But back to games, kind of that was the small part there, where they also talked about Powers TV too, which FES Diesel, you were kind of saying a bit about the series, you read the series. But yeah, no, I mean, that's something that it can interest people. Those were kind of the lower points of the conference, I'd say. But yeah, they showed off gameplay of Mortal Kombat X, which I am not a big Mortal Kombat fan. I've played the games quite a bit, but I've never really been massively into it. But I know, again, a big cult, following. Not even cult, it's a huge game in general. So seeing actual gameplay for that was probably exciting for quite a few people. Chris, you're saying that you're pretty big into that, right? And what do you think of the gameplay that was shown off?
It was definitely pretty cool. I didn't expect it to be that good looking. It definitely surprised me, and it was one of those things. I I would say that the gameplay was amazing, but at the same time, the Sony conference was so like disappointing to me that once it got to that point, like they could have shown like a squirrel doing backflips, and it would have been like Jesus, saving people. So I don't know. Like it was just so. To me, right now, it's the coolest thing I've seen this conference. So.
Okay. That's fair. But after that, they moved on to, we talked about Powers TV, and there's the Ratchet and Clank movie that they showed off, and also apparently a game coming out in 2015 as well, which is kind of a cool tie-in for that. I thought the first time they dropped the trailer for it, I thought it looked really cool. This trailer wasn't as solid as the first one they showed, but yeah, I mean, there's
It
probably...
looked like cutscenes from a game, one of the Ratchet and Clank games. So
I would go see it too, honestly. Like I love the Ratchet and Clank
see it.
Oh,
series.
dude, I'd see it in theaters. Yeah.
Let's all go together. It'll be a grand old time.
That
We'll
would be
fly
like
out
the
to
biggest
Canada
shitstorm ever.
and just bother
Canada.
Brighton.
I
Yeah,
hope they
maple
don't,
syrup.
like target the kids like these days.
Gotta get the kids.
But
Little Big Planet 3 and Ratchet and Clank.
If we
Boom,
go to
done.
Canada,
Kids
yeah.
are over there.
Canadian.
But like
this
instead of
kids.
making the movie for like 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds, now they make it for the people who actually played the games.
Yeah.
So there's like a little bit of like history and stuff.
No,
like,
definitely.
references and all that.
There's a lot of
Also-
dirty jokes in Ratchet and Clank.
I'd say
So-
too
Yeah.
that Ratchet and Clank's been around for like 10 plus years now. So like you might have been in your early teens when Ratchet and Clank started, but you might be in your early 20s now. You might even have a kid. Who knows? Maybe you played in your 20s and you're now 30, and you're like, let's go. I want to go see Ratchet and Clank the movies. I think this movie's gonna actually do pretty good because it's gonna have the gaming audience want to come out, kind of like Wreck-It Ralph, but also have all these PlayStation fans that are like, I want to go see Ratchet and Clank, and maybe you want to take their kid in to see it too. But then Last of Us got its remastered edition video and also showed off it for being coming out I believe July 29th, and I mean that was kind of a mute point. I didn't really like the trailer though. I was upset that they showed so much spoilers in the trailer. I thought that was kind of unfair to people that haven't played it yet. I mean, like, it's an amazing game. It's probably we're gonna talk about this when we do a Best of the Generation podcast, but that's the game that I will put my money behind being the best game of last generation, hands down, for just being this
Easy.
amazing experience that I got from that game. But why show a trailer that has so many spoilers? I know it's been out for a year, but a lot of people had 360s and now with the PS4, it's like that sucks that they did it that way. But still, it's going to be cool for people that haven't played that game yet to play it looking even better. And yeah, I mean, kind of closing out, they got a little bit stronger at the end, I'd say, with that, and then they moved into the MGS5 trailer, which
Yes.
hit and miss for a lot of people because I'm really excited for it, but then you can be also a person that just doesn't understand. You're like, what is this? I don't understand.
The community is a
trailer
bunch of
showed too
assholes.
much. It showed way too much to me.
It wasn't doing anything massive for me. I mean, when I saw it last year at Xbox's conference, I was like, that is a game I want to play. Now it's a year later and I'm a lot less interested in it, but I still want to play it probably when it comes out. But let's move on to from that to the GTA trailer that showed, and another game that's going to be moved up to the PS4, probably coming to Xbox One as well, already confirmed for the PC too, and that'll be coming in the fall. And that's cool to see. I mean, like, again, I think that could be nice for people that... I know people said, I'm not going to buy it, I'm going to wait till it comes to next-gen consoles, and I bet there are people out there right now that are grinning that's finally going to happen this fall. And imagine to that person that didn't play it, they now have this game that's going to be really awesome, right? Like a AAA game that's going to be fantastic for the fall. So better for them, obviously, for getting that.
And
And-
the thing I liked about it though a lot was whenever he mentioned that not just PlayStation 3 but Xbox 360 as well. If you want to transfer your multiplayer data and character over, that you can do that.
That's really cool. It gives people, it doesn't mean that you should stop playing and wait. It means that you can keep on working on making your character better in the game and, keep on playing through it.
I'm not worried about losing, yeah.
Yeah, but let's down to the final two. They showed off Batman, showed off some gameplay of Batman, which looked really nice. And I mean, I'm excited to play Batman. But it wasn't something that I was like blown away by either. There's a lot of that going on where it's like, oh, these look really cool, but I'm not like feeling like the whoa moment happening when I was watching it. Because it still has a lot of that same feeling as like Arkham City and Asylum, but it does look really cool, and I'm excited to play that for sure when it comes out in 2015.
I feel like it would have been more hyped if they had shown it at the beginning of the conference, because by that point, they drained all the life and energy out
Yeah,
of
they
it. So
did.
we were just a mess.
I have one issue with Batman, and he doesn't use guns, but his Batmobile is a fucking tank. Literally, it turns into a tank.
Hey man, that's his Batmobile. It's not him. He's not shooting anybody. It's the Batmobile. You can kill people with his Batmobile. 'cause it's
Those
the
bullets
Bat.
are just knocking people out.
They're fake. They're
They
just
were
they're
blowing
imaginary bullets.
cars up.
Yeah. There's probably
One
people
hit.
in those cars too. So.
They said they were
Hit his
unmanned
balls.
tanks.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
That's dumb.
Last trailer. Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. This got me excited because of one huge reason. This game looks a lot darker. Neil Druckmann, Bruce Straley working on the game. Amy Hennig's out. She's working on whatever Star Wars Battlefront. This means that the guys that made Uncharted 2, which is the best Uncharted game, undoubtedly, you can fight me if you want to, but it is, and the guys that made The Last of Us are working on Uncharted 4. So take the best Uncharted game and The Last of Us, and those two heads of guys that are in that are now making this game that looks a lot darker. You got an older Nathan Drake. He looks like he's aged about 10 years or so. I'm excited for what might be his very last one. The name of Thief's End really makes me think this is the final game in the series. And what a way to go out if it's going to look like a beautiful, just this... They've always been fantastic, beautifully looking games. And I'm not going to base the game on that, saying that it was captured with PS4. But still, it looks really, really good. And I love the dark tone that they're kind of going with there. And Sully's saying, one last time, let's do this thing. Really, they kind of painted it that way. They kind of painted like, this is it. This is what it's going to be.
Do you guys really think this is going to be the last Uncharted, or you think they're going to do a
yeah.
spin-off?
I think this
It's
is
the
the
end of the story.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
End
like,
of the story, but it
look
won't
at
be
the
the last one.
Look at it this way, guys. Like, they did Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot's now done. They did Jack and Daxter. Jack and Daxter's now done. They've moved on to new things, And I mean, they could potentially bring those things back. If they wanted to, 8 years later, they could do another Uncharted if they wanted to. But I mean, the point is that this series has run so long. Like, there's a point where you end things like that. Well, let's finish this up because it's already running pretty long, guys. I want to get your final thoughts on the conference and your favorite game that you saw from the Sony conference. I'll start off and say it's kind of a tough decision to really, pinpoint that exactly, but I think I'll probably go with No Man's Sky. I think that was my favorite thing that I saw. And I really love the Uncharted 4 teaser, but that's just a teaser. That's not gameplay. No Man's Sky has so much potential to be a great game. A small indie developer making it with so many procedural opportunities to make all this crazy stuff, go to these new worlds, and play with people. It's got me really pumped. What about you, Butts?
Like I said, No Man's Sky, LittleBigPlanet 3, and those are the main ones for me. I don't know. I'm looking forward to them, and I kind of want to get a PlayStation 4 now after watching the conference due to a lot of the free-to-play stuff. I'm into that, so yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Cool. What about you, Arling?
I would say Far Cry 4
That's
or
fair.
Grand Theft Auto 5, either one or the other,
I'll beat you
depending
up.
on boy band, Asian dude.
From the PC perspective, yeah. So that's fair.
K-pop.
What about you, Diesel?
It has to be No Man's Sky for all the reasons you said. Little Big Planet, and then MGS5, just because I'm a big MGS fan. But fuck you, Ground Zeroes, for being expensive.
What about you, Cody?
I think Abzu, actually. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Looks
that's
pretty cool.
that's
Just
what I
because,
said.
because Journey, the guys who made Journey made it.
Yeah. And it looks
And
really
also
cool
if-
too.
Yeah. And if DLC comes out for Grand Theft Auto 5, or if they make plans for it, then definitely Grand Theft Auto 5.
What about you, Kronos?
Little Big Planet. I mean, I thought the whole conference was pretty bad, but Little Big Planet 3.
Just
only-
shitting on it the whole time.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Little Big
whole
Planet.
time.
Little Big Planet 3 was my favorite out of it all, only because the bird was fucking adorable. That's it.
Yes, Little Big
I
Planet
thought
3
the
for
guy
the
that could
win.
shrink and get bigger. I thought he
Yeah,
was
that was
adorable.
cool.
He was cute.
Yeah.
He was cool, but I just found the bird to be fucking adorable.
Dude, Little Big Planet 3 for the win. Let's do this.
And lastly, Chris, on the very end over here, Chris Burr. What can you pull away from this that you'd be like, that kind of looks cool, I guess?
Probably The Last of Us Remastered or Mortal Kombat X.
That's right.
You
Oh
gotta say
yeah,
that.
Mortal Kombat X.
All good
So-
choices, I'd say. All the cool stuff I thought I saw there. And obviously a lot of it was stuff that we already saw earlier in the day, but I'd say kind of overall lukewarm response to that. I'm still excited to see games like Order 1886, Project Bloodborne, Uncharted 4 coming to the PS4, and obviously Little Big Planet 3. thank you guys for watching our recap of the Sony press conference. Obviously, we've been doing these all day. We can check out the other ones we did too, EA, Ubisoft, and Microsoft. We also got trailer analysis going up too, and we'll have our favorite games from E3 on top of that as well. And if you enjoyed this video, leave your thoughts on what you thought of the PS4 refs, and you know, obviously the Sony press conference on top of that. And also, yeah, leave a like too if you enjoyed it, or subscribe to see more of our stuff coming in the future. That's the point for this episode, guys. But stay tuned for more in the future. Thank you for watching.